It's another episode of the Brett Allan Show. Thanks for watching and being a part of today's episode and listening and all of the things we were chatting today with Diany Rodriguez, who can currently be seen on The Blacklist. A fantastic character, but you also have a brand new project coming out here called The Valet, which is equally amazing. Thank you so much for your time today.
Sure thing, absolutely.
Well, let's talk about your latest project, The Valet. I have not had the opportunity to watch it yet, but I've watched a few clips online and read a lot about this. It seems like a lot of fun and just a really great project for you. How did it come about for you, and what can people expect when they have the opportunity to watch?
It was actually really simple. Anytime I tell people about this, I think people expect much more involved a process, but to be perfectly honest, it was two auditions. I
Nice.
I taped at home because it was the pandemic, and they liked my tape, and then I had a Zoom call back, and then I booked the job. The end.
Yeah, yeah. I think sometimes people do kind of maybe expect a much more complicated process,
Yeah.
you know, and even for some of like these larger films, really, it's also very can be quite simple, depending on what you're doing and sort of that sort of thing. You know what I mean? And that's cool to hear, and of course they loved you, which is no surprise. So here we are. Can you let our viewers and listeners in on what the film is about? Because it's kind of it's a fun and quirky story, but a film that also has a little bit of heart as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It's based on a French film called The Valet. So there's already sort of a viewership encapsulated already with that title. Um, and it's funny, our version is much more inclusive. It's a Latina lead. Um, there's a Latina family at the center of it. Um, it's just a lovely feel good film. It sort of gives you a lovely cross section of what modern America looks like, and it gives you a an insight into sort of like a specific kind of maybe loneliness that like an immigrant trying to make his way in this world experiences. But also, there's a lovely famous woman in the movie that he befriends or that befriends him. So it's kind of like a loose. It's a loose thread of. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Trading Places.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a similar type of situation, where, through the eyes of another, you kind of grow to appreciate your own life and also portions of your own life that aren't in touch with often.
Yeah, and I think when I was reading about this, I that's what I find interesting about it is it is a little bit like that, and it's a fun-hearted film, from what I can see, and I think that really that's kind of what people like, especially given our experiences over the last couple of years. It's nice to have something fun and a little bit lighthearted, but also have meaning to watch.
Mhm.
I think is going to be great. So again, looking like a great project. I'm excited for people to watch this. You've been a part of a lot of great things in your career. Of course, we know the Blacklist and all these other projects you've been involved in. But when did you know that you wanted to become an actor or become a storyteller? When did that moment happen for you?
Um, it's it's funny. I'm trying really hard not to give multiple different people the same answers because I want every experience to be special. Like I want this experience to be special for you. So, um, it's sort of similar to an answer that I have given to somebody already. But in all honesty, I think that I knew I did a show called In the Heights.
Yes.
Yeah, and um, in another interview, I talked about how there's another show that I did where I was like, oh, I think maybe that this might be something I can do as a career. But In the Heights was the first time that I experienced sort of a galvanizing community experience. We would people would be up and dancing in the aisles. Uh, People would we had multiple repeat experiencers, like people that would buy tickets once a week for the
Sure.
entirety. It was like a 2.5 month run. And people came maybe 2 or 3 times a week. We had to start sort of selling tickets, based on like a, hey, this is your third time, so here's your discount. Um, and I think that was the first time. I don't know if I knew that I wanted to be a storyteller, but I absolutely knew that this particular job afforded me a really lovely insight into sort of my fellow man, and a really soul fulfilling opportunity to bond with people and share with people in a way that I wasn't in such control of. That we could share with each other, and I didn't have to say anything specifically to them. We could just live the shared experience, and it was a bonding opportunity.
Yeah, that's great. I think those opportunities are always great when we have an opportunity, so to speak, to experience them, because oftentimes, at least for myself, I know we can get moving and going throughout life and get involved in things. And then we kind of miss out on the opportunities, so to speak, that are happening in front of us. You know what I mean? And really taking those in, if that makes any sense.
It does make sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, I'm excited for people to watch this. One last question here. Again, just you've had a lot of different experiences and been a part of a lot of different things, but was there ever a piece of advice or something that has stuck with you and sort of sustained you, throughout the trajectory of your career or just life in general?
Yes. I think, and this is easy for me to say, I acknowledge that that's part of my privilege. I don't have any children. Any property that I own free and clear. So I can pick up and move, or my career can change, and I hoard money, just in case I piss too many people off and the jobs don't come anymore.
I like that concept just in life, really. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, that's good words to live by without anything
Absolutely.
else.
Yeah. So I have positioned very intentionally, I've positioned myself in a way to be able to sort of, like to make my bed and to lie in it.
Sure.
Uh, and as a result, I have learned that the way that the most sort of soul fulfilling and also, like prophecy fulfilling, or like future fulfilling, destiny fulfilling way that I know to live is to live my life in a very as principled way as I can, which I think runs the gamut from like, if
Sure.
if somebody is treating me in a way that I find disrespectful or unkind, regardless of whether I will face retribution, I will say something. If I see somebody else being treated inequitably or unkindly, again, whether I face retribution or not, I will say something. Um, if I think something should be changed or fixed or addressed, I try really hard to change or fix and address it. And I don't know if that leads to a career growth or money making opportunities, but I know that it lets me wake up every day and be able to like look myself in the eye, live my values and the way I feel and the way I like to treat other people unabashedly, and without shame. And it makes everything that I do that much sweeter. And I do everything in my life now with a sense of passion and freedom, as opposed to beholdenness, or a feeling of being beholden to any gatekeepers or opportunity holders. And I know, again, it's very easy for me to say, but I find that if you wake up every morning and you give yourself the opportunity to like say no, or to make an intentional choice as opposed to a choice out of fear, it may not be the easiest life, but you will feel satisfied, and you will feel like what you do gain is worth it. So I don't know if that's available to everyone, but I think it's really helped me in my life. Everything that I do, I find joy in, and is very intentional.
No, that makes more than perfect sense. I think, again, going back to what we were saying, just really like capitalizing on those moments of, and I love it. I really love, it's funny, but it's true. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to really kind of create your own life and destiny, you know what I'm saying, and really sort of direct it. I heard Mark Wahlberg say in an interview recently, that's why if he doesn't sit around and wait for people to call or pitch things or whatever, like if he gets offered something, that's great, but really, just creating his own experiences in destiny and really embracing that, because I think we all have the freedom to do it if we play our cards right, so to speak, and I think that's super important. But great sage advice. And again, wrapping back around to this project, I'm excited for people to watch it. Again, great work on everything that you've done. Diany, thank you for hanging out today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brett. I really appreciate you too. And by the way, you're one of the things I did intentionally. Christina, who is also on the Zoom call but muted, um, she gives me a list of who is interested in interviewing me, and then I look them up. And if I feel like I could vibe with them, or if they, show trademarks of people of like a publication or any sort of media that I would like to attach myself to, I'm like, yes, please, absolutely. So I thank you for, being somebody that I felt like I could maybe see eye to eye with or vibe with.
Yeah, 100%, Diany. I feel the same way. And thank you for the kind words. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.